Welcome to The Explainer. We're diving into something today that you've probably scrolled right past without a second thought. We're pulling back the curtain on those impossibly glamorous social media migration stories. You've seen them, right? The picture-perfect TikToks of young folks just living it up in these vibrant European capitals. But what if I told you that picturesque lifestyle is actually a shiny storefront for a highly organized, illegal network? Yeah. In this explainer, we're breaking down the hidden architecture of modern digital human trafficking. We're going to track a real-world journey, literally from the foothills of Nepal all the way to the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. Okay, let's dive into this. Just look at this young woman. We'll call her Tanushka. She's sitting in this gorgeously lit Parisian spot, looking flawless, holding up a French temporary stay ID card for all her TikTok followers on a live stream. I mean, it looks like the ultimate success story, doesn't it? But here's the catch. That glamorous Parisian life, the shopping, the wide boulevards, the parties, it's basically a giant deceptive ad. It's actually funded by commissions she gets for recruiting other vulnerable people into an illegal pipeline. So this isn't just a lifestyle vlog we're looking at, it's literally the digital storefront for an underground smuggling operation. So how exactly did she get there? Well, that brings us to the Dunki route. This concept originally started in Pakistan, but man, it has spread like wildfire across South Asia. And let me be super clear here. We are not talking about standard, legal labor migration. No. The Dunki route is all about border hopping illegally. We're talking hiding in the back of trucks, trucking through pitch-black forests, crossing freezing rivers at night. You're relying entirely on this shadowy human smuggling infrastructure. It's perilous, it's highly illegal, and it's a network that straight up profits off desperation. But here's the wild part. Tanushka's journey actually didn't start off illegally at all. It started right here at a regular departure gate in Kathmandu. She grew up in the Tarai Madash region of Nepal, working a modest boutique job, just chasing that universal dream of a better life. In 2023, feeling the pressure of debt, she took a completely legal step. She secured a working visa and flew to Romania. Now, keep this detail in mind because it's absolutely crucial. Romania is in the EU, sure, but at the time it was outside the Schengen area. That little geopolitical detail? It makes Romania this highly prized transit hub for smuggling networks looking to slip people into Schengen territory totally off the books. Let's move to and see how this builds. So she hits Romania in 2023, and this is where she connects with an organized group. Now, some of her friends from Nepal who were working with her, they actually backed out. They extended their visas to stay and work legally. But Tanushka, she chose the Dunki route. Fast forward to 2024, and she makes it to Paris, completely guided by a network that handled literally every single logistical detail for her. Once she's in Paris, she moves into an apartment run by another Nepali woman named Kalpana. And by 2025, Tanushka and others are jumping on TikTok, formalizing this whole trafficking network right out in the open. Section 2. The Fake Asylum Machine. Fabricating documents in the heart of Paris. You see, that apartment she moved into, it was definitely not just a place to crash. It was a full-blown operational hub right there in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. Think of it like a factory where they're meticulously rehearsing these false narratives and churning out fake asylum applications. There were other young women living there too, all waiting on their refugee cards, all using the exact same fabricated stories. And this apartment operation really had four main jobs. Number 1, fabricate those asylum documents. 2, teach the newcomers exactly how to exploit specific gaps in French immigration law. 3, coordinate the illegal transit routes across Europe. And 4, recruit new candidates, mostly using TikTok, to keep that money flowing. It's a hyper-efficient, systematic criminal machine. And this brilliantly illustrates how they pull it off at the French Immigration Office. The network specifically targets this one provision in French asylum law that's meant to offer protection to people fleeing gender-based persecution or violence. So Tanushka files her claim based on gender discrimination. But the really sobering reality here, she and the others weren't actually fleeing gender persecution or imminent danger. They were just fleeing economic hardship and the restrictions of a weak passport. And the immediate payoff for this scripted lie is pretty huge. France ended up granting Tanushka a 4-year refugee card, full healthcare access, the right to work, legal residency, the whole shebang. Today, she's working at an Indian-owned beauty salon right in central Paris, steadily paying off her smuggling debts. So if you're just casually watching her TikTok, it honestly looks like an absolute triumph of social mobility. But if you look under the hood, it is the textbook anatomy of systemic abuse. Section 3. The Trap of Modern Trafficking. Aspiration over coercion. Okay, we really need to pivot for a second and look at the broader picture because human trafficking has fundamentally evolved.
There is a stark contrast happening here. The old model of trafficking, that was built almost entirely on force, kidnapping, and physical coercion. But this new model, it is built purely on aspiration. It spreads through Instagram Reels and step-by-step TikTok tutorials, and their digital strategy is honestly fascinating. They operate super boldly on TikTok because right now, French government monitoring there is pretty low. But on Facebook and Instagram, total 180. They meticulously hide their faces and avoid anything identifiable because they're acutely aware of the severe legal risks over there. They know exactly what they are doing. So the crucial point is recognizing the hidden trap hiding right beneath these aspirational videos. Because it's an absolute gauntlet, folks. These brokers extract enormous sums of money from the migrants, and then poof, they often just vanish. During the transit itself, there's a severe risk of sexual exploitation. And once they finally make it to Paris, they're locked into these inescapable debt traps, forced to work or even recruit others just to pay back the smugglers. And here is the absolute most insidious part. Because they submitted fraudulent asylum claims to get in, they can literally never go to the police for help. The sheer terror of being prosecuted for their own fake documents, it completely guarantees their silence. Section 4, the true cost, ripples across borders and systems. This isn't just about a few people bending the rules in Paris. The consequences here are deeply systemic, and they shake up global structures. First off, all these fraudulent claims, they completely clog up an asylum process that was built for the truly desperate. This causes massive delays in getting protection to genuine refugees who are actively fleeing war zones. And in response, European governments are cracking down and tightening asylum laws, which ironically just makes it harder for real victims to find safety. Plus, this does massive damage to Nepal's international reputation. Honest Nepali workers are losing their credibility in the global labor market, and legitimate students and tourists are suddenly facing insanely strict visa scrutiny and high denial rates, purely because of their nationality. And we need to be crystal clear about the legal reality, too. In both Nepal and France, these are not just clever loopholes, they are severe crimes. Under the French Code Penal and their immigration laws, filing a fake asylum claim is a one-way ticket to deportation. Running a smuggling network or even just receiving those services is an aggravated offense. And here's the kicker. Using social media to show the route, like doing those step-by-step TikTok tutorials we talked about, legally qualifies as criminal facilitation. It is a major crime, plain and simple. And really, this perfectly captures the tragic duality of Tanushka's situation. She was drawn into this as a victim, just desperate for a better life. But now, she's become an active participant in a criminal enterprise. It's a vicious cycle where the exploited eventually become the exploiters because the system traps them in debt and illegality, leaving them practically no choice but to recruit others. Because ultimately, dreaming of a better life is not wrong, but the path must be legal, and it must be safe. We've covered a lot of ground today, tracing this incredibly complex issue from the lively streets of Kathmandu straight to the digital feeds right there on our phones. So I want to leave you with this final thought to kind of chew on. What is the true human cost behind those glamorous success stories you casually scroll past every single day? Next time you see one of those unbelievable digital success stories, just remember the unseen realities and the dark networks that might actually be funding that illusion. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.